So guys, first session to Meadow Lake on the Coking Farm complex. Just got down, just setting up, put the first rod out, just putting the second rod out with the boat, putting the bobbin on, and the middle bobbin started dancing. And this is lovely 22, did I say? 22 pound 2. Mirror. He's an angry little bugger. Don't like being in the net, I know that. But there he is. Handsome. He's got a funny little peck on this side. There you go. Absolute belter. Thank you, mate. Happy, happy, happy days. Well, could be the only fish of the session. And to be fair, it most probably will be. But it's a good start anyway. I'm going to get him back and get the other 2 rods out and get fishing again. What a result. Watch you guys, and welcome to the longest day of the year. You find me on a new venue, not a completely new venue. I'm on Coking Farm where I've fished before, but I'm on a new lake. I'm on Meadow Lake. I phoned them yesterday. I had a couple of days free without any work, so I've given them a call. They said they had this swim free on this lake, number 65. So yeah, paid me money and took me chance. So I got down here 10 o'clock start. So the first thing I've done when I got here is I got the bait boat out with the echo sounder, and so I put it out and discovered what we've got here is a very shallow margin, obviously, and then it shelves off quite sharply to about 8 foot, and it goes across to about 3/4 of the way across the lake, and then it shelves up gently until it comes to a gentle shelf over to the island. Now, actually at the island, I can't tell how deep it is using the echo sounder. My deeper stops at about 2.5 foot, so obviously it's shallower than that. But I was looking at the spot, it looked good. So what I've done, so I set up the middle rod first. I'm using size 4 curved hook, and I'm using the OMC red aligners. I'm using the new OMC coated braid in 30 pound, and their sinkers, and yeah, I've set it all up, put it out there on an inline lead system, nice and tight to the island, nearly overhanging branch, using the bait boat. So set that up, and then I was setting up the left hand rod, and what I've done with the left hand rod is a Ronnie rig, again using the OMC aligners and their braid, coated braid, and I put that on the bottom of the shelf on the other side. So as it comes from the 8 foot up, it's just on the bottom of the shelf there, with a handful of crumb and a handful of pellet. I say handful, a very small handful of both, and that's what I've done on the middle rod as well. I'm just fishing for a bite at a time. So anyway, I've brought the boat back for the second rod, which is a left hand rod. Boat was in the margin. I was just putting the bobbin on, and the middle bobbin, the one I've just put out, started to twitch and go. So I watched the line, off it was, fish on, and that was that 20 pound 2 that you saw earlier. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. I'm stoked with that. So what I've done, obviously weighed and photographed, filmed the fish, put it back. I wanted exactly the same rig as I've just put out, so I quickly tied another one up as per the one I had on there, because you could bird over. Put it out there, exactly the same spot, exactly the same rig, exactly the same small handful of crush buoy and a small handful of pellet. So that went out, and then the right hand rod is an inline lead system and pretty much identical rig to the rig I had the fish on. And what I've done, there's a lovely margin the other side of this willow tree. So you've got this willow tree and then a gap and then another willow tree. But the problem is, you've got a branch comes out from this willow which is just resting on the surface. So what I've done is I've dipped the rod tip on the right hand rod, put the row runner on the spool to stop it from flying off the spool. And I sent the boat up round the overhanging branch that's just on the surface here, and then back round next to, not this willow, the willow next door. And so as I was doing it, I walked round this willow. There's a little path goes between the two, and you can see the spot quite nicely, and put it on there with a boat. And yes, I've got one in the margin this side, one on the margin opposite, and one just on the bottom of the shelf. So once I got all the 3 rods out, I set the house up, made myself comfy, and celebrated with a can of Thatchers. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. It is absolutely scorching though. It's really, really warm. So yeah, I'm trying to take a bit of shelter in whatever shade I can find, but I think this is only going to last for another 10-15 minutes or so, and the sun's going to move around and be right on me. So I'll catch up with you in a bit, and I'm going to try and keep out the sun as much as I can. I'll see you in a little while. Okay, I thought I'd show you the rig that I'm going to be using, which is actually the rig I caught that 20 pounder on a little while ago. So I'm using the one more cast 35 pound blend coated hook length. I'm going to use Calder curve shank barbless as per fishery rules. Hard to get hold of good barbless hooks in a size 4, and these tend to do the job. They're pretty sharp, so I'm happy with those. I'm going to be using the one more cast bloodliner kickers, and inside the nice cardboard packages you get the little envelopes like this that keep your bits and pieces in, so you can store them in the tackle box nice and neat in these little envelopes. And as well as the bloodliners, I'm going to be using the 30mm tungsten anti-tangle sleeves. Obviously help kick the line out, and also to put onto the quick change swivel, and to hold it all down, the 25 blend tungsten putty, which is really good stuff, really, really good. So first of all, get your hook length, and I've already stripped off a section, stripped off about 4 or 5 inches there using the stripping tool, and in the end we're going to tie our loop for the boilie stop. I'll use a little needle, just pull that through. Like so. The other thing I need, which I left out, is some silicone tube. This is the Fox stuff, and this is for the size 6 to 2 hooks, and just cut the length of that off, about 3mm long. And then what we'll do, I'm going to cut this off, so we've got about 10 inches or more hook length. Cut it off there, and then slide that silicone tubing over. Easier said than done. Get it all the way through if you can, like so. Then ease that down length. I'm just going to wet it because it's quite tight, all the way down the end towards the knot. Then we get our barbless hook. Just going to test it. Yep, super sharp. And then put the point of that hook into the silicone tube, facing the hair, like so. Hopefully you can see this. It's quite hard to do it at this sort of distance. I'd normally have it a bit closer, but because I'm trying to get it so you can see on the camera, it's not quite so easy. And I want a fairly long hair, something like that. So I'm going to have the silicone coming off the hook at that point. Then we just do our knotless knot. So through from the back of the hook, out the front, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back out from the back to the front. I'm sure everyone knows how to do one of these by now, but in case you don't, there you go. So that's where we are at the moment. And then slide our bladder liner on. Like so. And thread it up the hook to get that nice angle like so. Okay, and I've got a few mil of uncoated braid just between the coated section and the end of that aligner, just to give that some movement. Next thing to do, slide the sleeve on, pointy in first, and then we simply tie the knot to the length we want, and I want this to be about 6-7 inches, about so long. Tie a loop in. And again, I like to use painting needle just to help pull that through, like so. So just check the length before I put it tight. Do I want it a bit longer? I think that's about right actually. Now I'm going to wet the knot. Always wet your knots before you put them tight, even on the coated materials. What I do anyway. And I've got my hook putter there just to give that a tug. A strong tug, make sure there's nothing slipping. Trim the end off like so. Then we'll slide that back over the knot, so that's ready to go onto the quick change swivel. Now the only thing we need to do next, get a little bit of this tungsten putty, the blend putty. Absolutely superb stuff this, it just doesn't shift. I've seen the clips with Ali showing it on Insta and stuff, and it really doesn't move. I think what they've done is they've used less of the tungsten itself and concentrated more on the adhesion quality of the putty, and you know, you're not going to need a lot of weight to just hold a bit of line down, so that's more than enough. Mould it round. Once it's on, it's not going anywhere, and I mean that, it really isn't. It's going to ruin the coating on the braid before that slides anywhere. So there we go, we've got a ready-made rig, and on that I'll be putting a live system wafter. Get bait out. Put it on the air. Well, see, if you're not used to tying your rigs yourself, then what I'd recommend is before you actually tie the hook on, and you want to get the air the length you want, using the boilie already in position. So tie the loop in the knot, put the boilie on, and then tie the length of the hair. Now that is actually quite a long hair, but that is how long I wanted it. That is perfect. And that is exactly how that 20 pounder was caught on the rig, exactly the same as that. So except for the 20 pounder, I had a couple of the OMC sinkers instead of the putty. But to be honest with you, just to sink the line down, yeah, and you're not using, you know, you don't need a sinker to hold a pop up down, just to hold the line down, a couple of little blobs of that putty, and that is not shifting, that's not going anywhere. I mean, it's on, and that's it. So I'm going to tie another one up exactly the same as that, and then we'll get them back out. Okay guys, catch up time. As you can see, I'm making most of the being able to park your car behind the swim, and I'm getting some shade by the side of the car. It is still absolutely scorching even though it's 6 o'clock at night. Really, really warm. There's no other shade in the swim apart from in the brolly obviously, but it's just too warm in there even with the vents open. It's scorching. So I'm sitting here, keeping cool. Thought I'd do a bit of an update. I wound the rods in earlier. I went to the shop to get some more wafters. I was running out of the live system wafters, so I went and got another tub of those. So I came back and I was just putting the rods out, and so I put the middle one out where I had that fish earlier. Left hand rod, I've gone from the bottom of the shelf up close to the island, not as close as the middle rod, but sort of a rod length and a half off, and the right hand rod is back where it was earlier, the other side of the willow tree. When I was getting because I put the middle rod out first, then the left hand rod, and then while I was getting the right hand rod sorted, I was just getting it put in the boat, and then middle rod sort of twitched up. I thought it was going to go, to be honest. It shot to the top and then back down again. So whether it's a liner or I've been done, I don't know. But then shortly afterwards, I was getting picked up by the ducks on my left hand rod. So happened too frequently for my liking, so I've round it in, checked the bait still on there. It was still on there, it was fine, and so put it back out for a fresh little stringer and a little bit of crumb again around it. Since I put it back out, the ducks haven't found it yet, so fingers crossed it stays that way. Like I say, it's still really, really hot, so the rods are out, they're set until something happens, and I'm just waiting for it to cool down a bit before I get on with my dinner. So until then, I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, it's that time again. So what's going to go inside the Ridge Monkey tonight? Well, let's have a look in the box and I'll tell you. Nice bit of rump steak and some salad. Nice. Looking forward to this. And to wash it down. Can of Thatchers. Happy days. There you go guys, can you see that? Oh man, there you go. Wow. Yummy. That is looking very good. About 20 more seconds I think and that'll be done. Get the salad on the go. There you go guys, steak and salad on a summer's evening. Solstice day, how about that? Not bad. I'm going to tuck into that and I'll speak to you in a little while. Good evening guys, just coming up to 8:30, sun's starting to go down and it's much more bearable, this heat. It's cooling down quite nicely now actually. Nothing to report on the rods. I've had to reposition the middle rod again because of the swans. They keep getting over there, getting the heads down, and so yeah, I've reeled the rods in rather than risk picking a swan up, and then put it back out with a boat. So yeah, a bit of cat and mouse with the swans. I just had a bit of an argy-bargy moment with them, hanging around the rod tips. Didn't like me trying to, you know, scare the little ones off. He gave it a big one, but just stand your ground and off they go. But yeah, that's it. That's the catch up. That's where we are today. So rods are fishing. So I've had my steak and my salad. Absolutely off the charts. Brilliant. So wash it down with a can or two of Thatchers, and now I'm just sitting here chilling. I've got a new gadget a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw my last video, but I was absolutely inundated with Mossies, and I thought I don't want that again. So I've got this new gadget, and it seems to be working. I put it on about an hour ago. The bivvy was full with midges and Mossies and yeah, all sorts of little flying critters, but absolutely void of anything at the moment. Okay, so got a few Mossies inside the bivvy, Mossies and small flies and what have you, and I've just put my new gadget on, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. And already looking at it, it looks like they're trying to get away from it. Yeah, they're definitely going further up the bivvy, away from the unit. So be interested to see what happens, see if they manage to get out, find their way out. So they shouldn't want to be in here with that going. So we'll see what happens. The size of that bad boy. Whoa, he's a giant. So yeah, it's really neat little gadget. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to do a review of it just yet. I'll use it a few more times and see how it goes. But first impressions are very, very good. So yeah, nice Mozzie free bivvy, which will be nice. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get some action. Like I say, it's starting to cool down nicely now. So it's about that sort of time when you sort of half expect something to happen. It's been a very quiet lake though. I'm not sure if anyone else has actually caught anything. I don't think they have, but I could be wrong. But so yeah, I feel very fortunate to have had that 20 pounder. Yeah, very, very nice. But we'll see what happens. Still got a night and a morning to go, so who knows. We'll give it a go and we'll keep you posted. But for now I'm going to put the camera away for the evening, and if it happens, obviously I'll get it back out. But until that time, I'll see you then. Good morning guys, just getting on for 6 o'clock and not a lot to report. About 5 minutes ago I had a sharp lift on my left hand rod. I thought it was going to go, to be honest. Yes, I threw the bag off me, slipped the crocs on, and then by that time it dropped back down again and all went quiet. I was watching the rods, I went out to check and there was no knocks or no sort of movement on the rod, so I put it down as a little liner. And other than that, it's been very, very quiet. I've had a couple of little knocks, but I think that's probably just been birds in the margins in the darkness. But yeah, so nothing to happen. I don't need my phone to tell me what the weather's going to be today. It is going to be another scorcher. I'm in the shade over in this swim, but I can see the sun coming down either side of the island and behind me. So I won't get the sun here until sort of about midday. So just as I'm packing up. So what I'll do is I'll make sure I've done all the heavy work. I say heavier, I ain't got to carry anything, the car's right next door, but I'll pack it all down before the sun even gets round here and get ready to be on my toes. Watch guys, just getting on for midday, and as you can probably see, I'm finding a little bit of shade. The shade's getting smaller and smaller as the sun comes round. Everything's packed away apart from the rods and the kettle and the stove. I've got another hour left before I have to pack up, but everything is packed away apart from those essentials. So I'm going to put the camera away in a minute. Obviously if something happens I'll get it back out, but it's not looking likely. I don't think anything's been out of the lake, to be honest. I'll find out when I pack up and drive around the lake. I'll ask a few people what's been going on, but I don't think anything else has been out. Yes, I'm feeling very lucky to have that one yesterday. I'm going to go home very happy. So I'm going to call it a day there. I'm going to put the camera away in a minute, and yeah, just will one of these to go, although I think it's a long shot now. I'm really running out of time. So until next time, guys, if you do like the videos, please subscribe, and remember to hit the like button and hit the bell button, and you'll not miss any of my videos. So yeah, till next time, be lucky, and I'll see you soon.